All right, storylines and recap from day one at the NFL Combine. And let's just get into it. The receivers and tight ends put on a show. You had 9 different players run a sub 4.4 in the 40-yard dash. You also had the other big storyline before we get into our top performers of the day. Kenny Pickett and his small ass hands apparently stole the show early as he becomes the latest victim of the mean girls hand size shaming that goes on at the NFL Combine each year for quarterbacks. Now, listen, despite throwing over 4,000 yards, 42 touchdowns, and being a Heisman finalist, Kenny Pickett was met with a lot of concern from scouts and evaluators because the 8.5 inches, while would be impressive in a lot of other areas, it was the 3rd smallest hand size for a quarterback in the NFL Combine since 2003. Fun fact, a little trivia here for you. The other 2, both from the SEC, Jake Fromm and Brandon Allen. Listen, 8.5 inches, fine. He still put on a show in the on-field performance. And I think his quote at the end summed it up best when he was being hand size shamed about having a micro hand. And he said, "I'm a thrower, not a shower." So well put, Kenny. Let's get into our top performers of the day. This guy wasn't performing on the field, but Evan Neal and just his slim, thick with your cute ass body stole the show on Twitter because he weighed in at 340 pounds, and it's the slimmest 340 pounds you've ever seen. To compare this, okay, he's 6'7", 340, does not look at that at all. Vince Wilford was 325. Look at the difference in bodies here. Vince Wilfork looks like, if Kimbo Slice and that blueberry from the girl that turned into a blueberry from Willy Wonka had a baby. Not the same at all. That is your number 4 best performance. Number 3, and he could have been number 2. And honestly, you can make a case for both. This was an incredible performance. The time ended up being a little bit slower than his initial unofficial 40 time, but George Pickens from UGA, the receiver, 6'3", 195. He's less than a year removed from ACL surgery. Okay, comes back and he runs an unofficial 4.4 backed up by an unofficial 4.43. Now his official time was a 4.47. His vertical was only 33. That could not be less important, by the way, his vertical, because the kid has unmatched ball skills and when he's in the air, especially. I think George Pickens made himself some money, might be able to move into the late first round. Fantastic performance by him. Number 2 on our list, Velus Jones, the receiver from Tennessee, who in my opinion was one of the more underrated and overlooked players, not just in the SEC, but in the country in general. Yes, he was first team all SEC as an all-purpose guy, but just did not get near enough attention and love that he should have. Guy that finished 2nd all-time in Tennessee history for most single season all-purpose yards. He came out and ran a 4.31, the 2nd fastest time out of receivers there on day 1. Fantastic job from Velus Jones. And your number 1 performance of the day, Malik Willis. Listen, former Auburn guy. He has continued to impress since the Senior Bowl. I keep saying they stole the show, but Malik Willis really did steal the show. You had some scouts saying, quote, "He has an overwhelming majority of the belief that he has the highest ceiling of any of the QBs in this draft class." Another quote said, "His mind is overflowing with knowledge," which is what a lot of you guys say about me. So I totally get it. He scored a 32 on the Wonderlic. And then his on-field performance was fantastic as well. He looked great. He looks good in pads, looks good without pads. Definitely the clear-cut front runner at quarterback. And if none of that on the field or in the interview room was impressive enough, this man went viral for what he did when no one else was looking, a high-character guy, when he was seen giving out clothes and helping out with a homeless man in Indianapolis. Again, no one around, no one looking. Somebody just caught it on their phone. It goes viral. Malik Willis, just the arm, like the right arm of a god, and then also just the heart of gold. You just love it. You love to see it. Those are our top performers. And listen, we'll leave with this. If you had a bad day, it couldn't have been worse than Gus Malzahn's, because Gus Malzahn, let's never forget, is the one that said Malik Willis, who might be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft, was his 3rd string quarterback so he could start this guy, Bo Nix, as an 18-year-old. So you're still making better decisions than Gus Malzahn. I'll say that. We'll get back to you on day 2. Those are the top performers from day 1.